All right, we're leaving the garages, turning north towards the false grid. This entire area that we see will be filled with trucks and trailers for the event. But we're heading north towards the north paddock. We're on what will be an open road along this fence.
Normally these would not be here, and this gate will be open.
So we're turning onto the north part of the pit lane, which we use for false grid. Cars will be parked left and right in order, with the fastest cars down in the middle near the start-finish line. So let's pretend that we were number one on the qualifying grid. We would pull into our number one spot right about here, and grid would instruct us, and the starting judges would allow us to go out when the track was cold. So once they gave us the okay, we'll head on the south end of the active pit lane. And something for you to know about the south end, this is where all the pitting takes place. For SCCA events, we only use the south pits. When you're all done with a session and the checker flag is out, you will exit at the south end of the south pits. You'll see a corner station to your right, driver's right, and driver's left. There'll be an opening. I like to signal and tell them that I'm going in. I go in through here, and this gate will be open, and this will take us back into the paddock. All right, we're in the position 1 on the grid. We're in the false grid, which is the north end behind the pits. They've given us the okay to go on track. They'll marshal us, they'll guide us out there, and as we go, we'll notice the south pits that are our active pit lane. You'll also see to the right a corner station. That's the corner station for turn 1, and they will direct us. If a gaggle of cars are coming, they'll tell us to slow down. They'll tell us when it's clear. And when we leave the pits, we will stay extremely left, driver's left, and you'll see a white line. This is the blend line for us to safely get on the course. The active course is to our right. Okay? Usually we like to stay extreme left as we enter into corner 2. And about this time we can start to blend with traffic. You will notice some barriers that are up here during construction. We'll ignore these for the second. So, from turn 2 to turn 3, you're on driver's right, because turns 3A and 3B are a left-right. So we're over here on the left-hand side. We'll hit pause and reposition ourselves. We're back in our position. You'll see that 3A is to the left. We try not to turn in early here, because if we turn in early for 3A, we're going to be early for 3B. So this is a left-right, and you'll find out that once you get moving, your momentum will take you all the way to the track edge out of here. Next turn 4, you might think you want to go all the way to driver's right. You don't have time. get your car positioned comfortably in the middle of the track, and then look through 4 and 5, trying to make a straight line from left edge to right edge of the track, so that you're going as straight as possible when you're going very fast. Your tires just may tickle this grass here, maintenance throttle, and at which point you stay driver's right as you go through the carousel turn 6, aiming to the outside for braking and turning into 6. Turn 6 has a long exit rumble strip, which is fine, but remember, outside after the rumble strips, they might have a little dip, so be careful here. Now turn 7, the last turn on the road course. You'll see that it's almost 4 car lengths wide. Most of us try to stay 3/4 of the way over here, slow down, get our appropriate gear, and then we look for a very late apex. Again, we don't want to turn in early and hit the wall. We want to turn in late, about where the oval joins back up again, and our momentum will take us all the way out to the wall, but will be parallel with the wall. Very safe configuration. Now, what do you do about this big NASCAR oval 3 and 4? You start high and you let your car fall down in a nice position down to about the second lane up. After about halfway through this 3 and 4, you start looking for the apex, which will be a very late apex, down near NASCAR 4. When you get close to the white line, then your momentum is going to take you up towards the wall. Again, let the car comfortably drift up to the wall, at which point you'll be parallel with the wall and not running into it. Now, as we go down the straightaway, try to stay near the outside wall. Here's start-finish. Past start-finish, you'll start to see cones in the fence, which are your marker cones. At this point, you'll want to do your braking in a straight line, get your appropriate gear from 5th to 4th, and at this point, you want to make a late but left-hand side drive through the transitions from oval to pit exit to road course. The idea is to be going as straight as you can when you transition. Now you're going very fast into turn 2, brake, brake, brake. Get your next gear, turning in. Find your apex. It's a later apex, and your momentum will take you out to the track edge. All right. So a couple things to really take into consideration. You don't want to turn in early at any of these corners. You don't want to turn in early. I'm going to have to modify my line slightly because of some tires, but you will get all the way out to the grass edge here in 4, or 3A going into 4. And again, you can't quite get all the way over, so just get your car comfortably gathered up and make a straight line between 4 and the entrance to 5. Touch. I'm turning the steering wheel as little as possible and just maintaining the throttle so that the car is nice and balanced. And I'm aiming for my braking cone kind of like I'm aiming for a straight line. Brake, brake, brake. Get my right gear, and then I'm going to accelerate, maintenance throttle, and then accelerate through 6. Remember in 7 we said we don't go all the way over because the track goes off camber. So about 3/4, 2/3 of the way out, brake, brake, brake. We use a late single apex. Now you can pass cars there inside, but you have to slow down more. Okay. We've made our good late apex and we're accelerating. If we're all done, you'll notice that pit lane in is on the left side. I would have my arm up at this point, be going into the pit lane, and we'll show you how to safely get off the course. This is a big, wide NASCAR, IndyCar pit lane. It goes for a long time. You might see some concrete patches for emergency vehicles for egress and ingress. You also see a pavement here where the pace car pulls in. But we're going to stay on the used pit entrance. Now, as you get into the pits, you might need some help from your crew, but remember, all of our pitting is done on the south half, so none of this pit lane will be occupied unless your car is disabled. If you stop there, make sure to wave vigorously to tell somebody that, hey, I had to stop here. If you had to do a pit stop and check tires after start finish line, after the break, pull into your pit box. Your crew will check over your car, make sure everything's okay, and then you can either head back on track or you can head into the pits in the paddock. We're going to exit the pits. We'll go see what the paddock's like.
Okay, this is an addendum to Peter's video, and just wanted to show you a few things that have changed since we actually made that video. Obviously, it was a nice, clear, sunny day that day, and now it's not. So I am sitting in the hot pits like you were coming down pit road. Right in front of me is the start-finish lines. As you come into the pits, please do timing and scoring a favor and do not stop before the yellow line right in front of us, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and start down the hot pits. And you can see in the distance on driver's right with our blue flag there that is where turn station, our corner worker station 1 is. We'll also come around on the main straight so you can see where it's at from there. Driver's right on the pit road, driver's left on the front road. So we will stay inside of our blend line here. And the first big change is going to come up as we come around here. In front of us, you will see a red flag on driver's right hanging from corner station 2. The track has added a yellow light there like out on the NASCAR, and for the event we will have cones across there and you'll be going left instead of to the right. Now, as Peter said, we're way outside. Over on driver's left you can see corner station 3 in the distance, and we'll be coming down here. Again, as Peter said, we don't want to turn in too soon because we want to try and make this as straight a line as possible. Right as we pass here will be the loop that is the end of Sector 1. And on our left, it's kind of a little tough to see, the flag's kind of blowing funny, but that is our next major change. Driver's left, turn 4, now has a light as well as a flag. Directly in front of us with the black flag laying on the ground in front of it, that's corner station 5 out there on driver's right. the left, up there, driver's left, with the red and yellow flag, you can see corner station 7. And we come out onto the oval. And on driver's right, kind of high up there, is a yellow light, flashing yellow light, NASCAR light. And right here at the number 1 is the end of Sector 2. As you can see, the mowers have blown a little grass up here on the track. Okay, the next yellow light for the caution lights is on the flag station up here. Start at the start-finish line. So as we cross the start-finish line, that begins the speed trap. The end of the speed trap is approximately here, and we are in Sector 1. And over on driver's left, you can see the blue flag for corner station 1, and that's how it looks from trackside. There's the red flag for turn station 2. And I'm going to jump ahead here until I get to the pit in. Okay, we're coming into pit in. And on our left are some of the pads for emergency vehicles. Here is the spot where the pace car comes in. And you'll see on driver's right on the wall there is a red line. That is the beginning of the pits, and you must maintain a pit speed limit of 25 miles an hour or less. So now your race is over, or your qualifying is over, whatever it may be. You're going to mosey on down to the far end, the south end of the pits, and then we are going to make a turn in. Right across from flag station 1 is where we will turn into the paddock area. It's actually just slightly past. All right. All right, we are at the entrance to the paddock. We've just turned left off of the hot pits, and as you can see, there is a yellow line here on our right. This will be the entrance to paddock. There will be vehicles paddocked off here to our right, and we'll come down this way. Obviously, if you're paddocked down here, you can turn right in unless you're being called to tech. There will be a sign approximately right here that will say all cars to tech, first 3, whatever the case may be. Continue on to tech, you will come over here like this, and about here you will turn right. And then you will turn left down the east side of the garages. turning left into the tech area. The scales and everything will be to my left, and there will be more vehicles paddocking down here. Next, I am going to take a break here, and I'm going to go back to where we were, and I'll show you how to get to the paddocks that are outside the track through the tunnel. Okay, we are back by where we turned right off the entry to the paddock, and we are going to turn left and head for the tunnel. You'll notice the sign was there on the driver's right. And we will head down this way. Plenty of room for cars to pass both directions. Go through the little gate here. Past the old scales. And we're going to continue on down here. And we are going to turn left into the tunnel. Okay, we'll obviously stay to the right. Now my Miata is 4 inches off the ground, and I have no problem coming through here, but I am also going to take a measurement and tell you what that is underneath.